Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. Personally, I went out and got some stuff. Plan on doing some skiing here soon, coming up the 14th of March. Um, so, looking forward to that. So, I went out and got some ski gear yesterday, and I'm going to try snowboarding for the first time. Um, so, this will be until then, I'm going to be in training, getting ready for the big ski day. So, wish me luck on that. Um, but had a good weekend this weekend, and so now it's back to the stock market. So I hope y'all ready. And if you are ready, let's do it. We gotta go. All right. So first up is the our favorite. Oh, and we're gonna talk about that one. That one, Chris Sane just put that one out, and maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. But I see some. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that one. So we always do our majors first before we get into the stock. So let's do our majors. First up is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was trying to push back up. Now it's sold off over the weekend, which is typical, right? Usually happens while you sleep. All right, so Bitcoin's got a little bit of pullback, almost back to where it was when it pushed up. So that bar just almost wiped out those two bars that it put in. So according to this one, the Bitcoin USD, it's outside of this channel, or it could just be a bigger channel, right? Yeah, won't let me do it that way now. Let's just get rid of it. Get a new one. Get a new one. Alright, so we're running down this way here. Across to here. Something like that. There. Yeah, that makes sense. Running down between that. I like to make it blue. Stands out a little bit better. There you go for that. Bitcoin USD, that's the channel for that one, and then the channel for Bitcoin futures, it's kind of the same. So we do know we have some selling off, and actually it's probably um, more evident in the USD, but we do have the sell, and we're still in this channel heading down. Okay, and this channel maybe more at an angle this way and across through here, but that's okay. But as we get more definition, we'll make that look more how it should be looking. But we clearly are doing this type of thing that we did over here. In my opinion, we're slowly just kind of selling off or trading sideways somewhat. And it did that for a while there. Let's see, on our yearly, let's try 2 years. See, so I'm almost starting to do the same thing here. Okay. Um, so I don't know if you want to call that a flag or what do you want to call it, or just checking back into the trade wins and the moving averages. But we got this window open, so we may continue to pull back into here to shut this window on Bitcoin. All right, so don't let them fool you. Um, there's some things that have to be reconciled with Bitcoin, like this window that's been opened. All right, and so I don't. So far, I can't see any stock that has gotten away from it. So far, they've all had to come back and shut these windows at some point. So you can't leave the door open. You need to close the door. So I think they have to come back and shut those doors. or shut those windows, or whatever you want to call it. Give it your own name, but something's got to be done about it, right? Don't leave home with the garage door open. Make sure you shut the garage before you leave. All right. Next up is oil, and oil looks like it's getting weaker again, starting to sell off. It wants to retest this $71 area where it's been having some trouble with, and so it just can't seem to get up there and stay. Hit $80. Now it's back down in here below our trade winds, and looks like it's getting weaker again. So careful with oil. Looks like we're going to probably continue to sell off in oil and maybe try to find some footing again around $67. So we'll see what happens with that one as time moves on. Next up is the E-mini S&P 500 Index Futures. And it looks like we got a sell signal here. That's a pretty big bar. Wiped out all this over here. Didn't quite get past this guy, but took out quite a bit of it. So be careful with this one. Got our moving averages rolling over. We got a little bit of a fat doji here. So we open up below that, or open up and then push down past it and close below it. It's a pretty good indication we're going to continue to sell off. Alright, so keep an eye on this fat doji into Tuesday. Alright, if we close below that down here somewhere, most likely we're going to continue to sell. Alright, next up is Ethereum, and Ethereum is probably going to sell off like the rest, like Bitcoin and the rest of them. So it was trying to get back up in here, but I don't think it's going to have enough. I think we're going to probably reconcile this pointer here before trying to go back higher. So that may be the direction we're heading, where that pointer is right there. Alright. Next up is Ethereum and USD, same pointer, same idea. Next up is gold, and gold continues to bounce off up here, just up against the ceiling, just keep hitting the ceiling, trying to break through it. So it's definitely been a rough ceiling for it. So it's got a lot of concrete, and this one is trying to break through. So it's going to probably take quite a bit, looks like, to get through it. So I would suspect eventually either it's going to bust through it, but it ain't going to be enough to sustain it, and it's going to come back down in here somewhere. So, and build up some more to go back and try it again. But right now, it looks like it can't get through there. It's just, it's like a damn, excuse me French, it's like a darn mosquito bouncing off the ceiling, bouncing off the wall, trying to get through it. No mosquito, go out the door where you came in. All right. Next up is natural gas, and natural gas hit its own ceiling and pull back a little bit here. All right, so we know natural gas there. All right, made a new high here. New highs are always white. And the reason why new highs are always white is because they're always right. Just kidding. Because it looks better against a black background, you big dummy. Next up is NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ, same thing. E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures got to be the same as the 500, right? Nice big sell bar coming in, run up against some resistance area at 21,783. Put in a fat doji, we opened up and below this line here and sell off into the morning, most likely we're going to continue to sell off and come back down into here and look for some support. If that doesn't hold, look out below. All right, but currently NASDAQ looks like a sell. All right, next up is silver, and silver ran into some resistance. Remember, we were bouncing off of here, and we kept putting in these pointers. We knew we had some trouble. Then we put in this big pointer right here, and it kept us down. And then we pushed up a little bit. Now we're starting to run into trouble again. It's stuck behind this resistance area. So careful with silver. If we open up below this fat doji, most likely we're going to go back down here and gather our forces and our troops and try to get back through this wall again. All right, that's what I got for silver. Next up is the Dow, and the Dow continues to look like it's weak, showing weakness in selling. Pre-market, we're kind of pushed up here somewhere. Currently in the pre-market, we're about right here. So don't let that be what gets you in trouble. Don't think this is a big sell bar here. It took out all that over there. It just wiped all that out. Got wiped out. So that just all the money went in here to go to here. It's coming out right here. All right. So it's going to go back down to wherever the price is going to take it with all this money leaving. Okay, so if we push up, be careful for the sell off on you into the later on into the morning. Okay, we do have our trade winds coming up to catch us to help hold us afloat and take us higher, but we know we have some selling pressure coming in. So be careful with it. All right. Next up is Apple, and Apple. Yeah, I thought it was going to take this thing out, but it didn't do it. Ran into some trouble. Put in this gravestone, somewhat a gravestone. If it didn't have that tail, it looked more like a gravestone. But put in this gravestone doji. So we were a doji gravestone, right? So almost like say we're dead. Yeah. So anyway, look for the pullback on Apple. I think we're going to come back down in here and try to find some support as our moving averages push up, and we may keep pushing up until we get through them and start heading down lower on Apple. But that remains to be seen. We don't know that for sure because Apple is a good stock. Apple does make money, but right now, it might be running into some struggles because of the tariff thing. Or just the fact that, I'm still on my 14 plus, you know what I mean? And they got the 16 plus out. So that's, 2 more generations or whatever. But, not that, everybody's like me, but, I just don't run out and buy a new phone every year. So there's going to be, I'm sure quite a few people that are like that. They don't have to have the newest, the latest, the greatest. Although I was going to get it, but anyway, that's another story. Next up is we're going to do our Chipotle, all right, which is was showing some strength in the pre-market, came all the way back up to here, from here up to here. But now it's starting to show like it wants to sell off in the pre-market. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I believe it's going to continue to sell off. I still got my little 1 chair ordered in there. And I probably, when it gets to it, I'll probably end it and move it somewhere else. But because I'm waiting for a buy signal. And so far I'm not getting it. Alright, so Chipotle still looks like a sell. It's going to open up most likely to around $51. It tried in the pre-market to push up and test out this $52 area. So we may get a push down and then a push up just like that in the pre-market. And then maybe sell off again. So as you can see, they're testing it out in the pre-market to see what it's going to take to move it. And I bet it's taking quite a bit to get it to move up higher because I'm sure a lot have been pulled out of it. All right, so that's what I got for Chipotle. I think it's still a sell. I think um, I'm still hedging my position. I'm not. Oh, and I had this 50% marked out on here. Um, and basically, what I was doing. Let me show you what I was doing there. So this is our move, right? This so far has been our move down. Um, and you can even take this thing. Let's remove that. Alright, so when you're setting up your chart or whatever and you're looking at this stuff, let's get a little broader view. Let's do 6 months. Right? Alright, so that's our Chipotle move. So we could probably have taken this thing, this little tool here, this drawing tool, and grab this thing here, channel, right, and marked it off. So we went here, sit down to there, right, and then over here like this. Right, that makes more sense right there. Alright, so that's when we moved, and that's when we got into our channel. Hit there, bounced off there, went across, bounced off there, now we're heading back down here. Alright, so that's our little channel that we've been stuck in for a while now, and I kind of had it drawn, but I didn't do it quite this way. I just kind of had the one stick coming down and the other stick going down where I thought it was going, and it's still kind of the same concept as you can see now. Right, so that's another way of drawing what I had drawn already, where I thought the stock was going. Okay, but this is probably a clearer picture, And if you want to, this is Thinkorswim trading platform, so I've always liked it, but even before it became Schwab. Um, so and it works pretty well. Okay, so so that kind of give you an idea too which way we believe the stock could be heading potentially, right? So we're stuck in this channel heading down, and I guess I don't know if we get a bigger picture. Let's see if we get a bigger picture. Okay, so that's maybe a bigger picture there. 5-year chart, right? So if we stay in that channel heading down, we get down around $30 or so, which is where I kind of where the intrinsic value of Chipotle is at the moment. It's around $30 or so. So okay, so we may continue to sell off or we may not, but the intrinsic value of Chipotle at the moment is around $36 or so, or somewhere in that range. You have to find out for yourself. I was looking on, I think I found it on Yahoo Finance where they had it at around $36 and some change for the intrinsic value. And then also Rocket Lab had an intrinsic value of something like $5 or something like that. So there's some other things that are working against our stocks also. Not just the fact that the whole market is selling off, in my opinion. As we looked at the NASDAQ and we looked at the Dow, we haven't looked at the Russell, but, most of the stocks, the majors are selling. Most of them are selling. And even gold is starting to look questionable. Okay, but we know the Dow and the NASDAQ have been selling, and we could take a look at the Russell right now, and let's see what the Russell's doing. The Russell put in a nice sell bar too. So let's go back to 3 months. Okay, so look at that. Russell just wiped out all that, and it's almost closing below its trade win, so Russell may continue to go lower. Thing to look into in your trading journey. All right, do your research. Do your own research. Do your own learning. Learn as much as you can about this stuff, because there's a lot of factors that go into which way your trade is going to go. So Rocket Lab, like I said, $5 intrinsic value, but um, you know, is that where it's going back to $5? I don't know, but I do know that it's in a sell mode right now, and the next stop is going to be about $21 if it does stop, and then it's going to blow through that. It needs to, it needs to go back and close that garage door, um, and I hope it, the door getting into the house is locked so you can't get into the garage and then get into the house too. All right, but this door needs to be shut. This window needs to be shut. And you need to bring the pies in and put them in the refrigerator and shut this window. So, however you want to look at this empty zone here where nothing's been bought or traded, there's an emptiness here that needs to be filled. Sorry, I get goofy sometimes. But anyway, this needs to be reconciled. It needs to be taken care of. Okay, you can't just take off and leave windows and stuff open and not expect stuff to go wrong. So, go back, shut the window, and then move on. Or go back, close the garage door, and move on. Go back and shut the door. This door needs to be closed so that you can go on comfortably and not be worried about what you left back here open to the universe. Okay, so that's where we're at on Rocket Lab, and I think that it's still currently a sell. I think we want to come back and reconcile this window and then go back and retest. I'm kind of worried about it because I know we got the Doge father running around in these government businesses, and he's cutting the fat. And I know that we just now started getting a bunch of contracts through the government for Rocket Lab, so don't know how that's going to affect the Rocket Lab's contract and money coming in. I know there's other avenues of money coming into Rocket Lab, but I'm just saying, that's just one of those things as well that may be affecting the price. You know what I'm saying? Because space exploration is not cheap, for what I understand. Alright, so that's all I got for this morning. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy.